Okay, we are making a cottage cheese pumpkin spice loaf. And you're first gonna start with 2 cups of almond flour. 1, 2. And we're going to add, so we're doing the dry mix first. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you don't like too much, maybe just add 2 teaspoons. But I'm gonna add 3 because I like it. 3. 1 teaspoon of ground cloves. Again, if you don't really like the taste of cloves, don't use this. But I do, so I'm using it. I'm really trying to go for an intense flavor, but if you want more subtle, you can use less of the spices. And I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And so you're just going to whisk that together just to get out any big clumps. We also add a half cup of brown sweetener that's not shown in the video. You just want to whisk that really well just to combine all the flavors. Make sure everything's mixed well. And then we're going to create the wet ingredients. Now I'm just doing it in a blender because it's just so much easier than taking out the electric mixer. So we're going to be adding the 3 large eggs, 1/3 cup of unsalted butter melted, and a half cup of cottage cheese. So once you have that blended, you're just gonna pour it in the dry mixture. And so the reason I use cottage cheese, which I've been resistant for a long time, but I'm starting to realize how versatile it is, and it adds more protein to a lot of recipes. And so that's why I've been using it a lot more lately. So then you're just going to mix this together. I use a rubber spatula for this. And finally, you're going to add half a cup of pumpkin puree. Now this is definitely pumpkin puree. It's not the pumpkin pie filling. Make sure it's the puree because it's not sweetened, or it's just pure pumpkin. Now you can add this in the blender with the other wet ingredients, but I like to do this at the end. I don't know why, I just always done it this way. So mix that in there. So the puree will not only give it that a little bit of pumpkin earthy flavor, but it'll also change the color a bit. And pumpkin pie spices, really, it's not really pumpkin, it's just the different spices that are associated with pumpkin, but those spices aren't really pumpkin. It's a pumpkin pie spice flavor is what we're going for. So we're gonna put this in a muffin loaf tin, and we're gonna preheat our oven to 325, and we're gonna bake this for around 45 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. So let's do that. So I greased and lined a 9x5 loaf tin, and so I lined it with parchment paper. I'll usually take out the parchment paper and I'll scrunch it up and moisten it. It's easier to put into the loaf when it's moistened like that because it's more pliable. So you're just going to drop all of this batter into the tin, smooth it out, and put it in the preheated oven at 325. Again, you're going to bake it for about 45 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. There, let's go in the oven now. Okay, we are making the glaze for the cottage cheese pumpkin spice loaf, and we are using 3/4 cups of powdered sweetener. This is a powdered monk fruit, and we're using a tablespoon of Greek yogurt. Pop that in there. And 2 tablespoons of pumpkin puree. 1, 2. Whisk that together. I know it kind of looks dry at first, but keep whisking. And it'll turn into a nice glaze. Now, depending on how thick it is, you can taste for sweetness if you need more sweetener, or if you need it to be thinner, you can add a little bit of cream to it to thin it out. It depends. It's up to you how thick or thin you want the glaze to be. Some people like it more like a drizzle. Some people prefer it nice and thick on top of the loaf, but that's up to you. So play around with it and see how you like it. It may just be good just the way I made it.